Hello, everyone. Everyone who's entered bang on 3:30. Super cool. Welcome back to the Dynatrace App Development Office Hours. We're happy to have you here. We're just going to give everyone a couple of minutes to arrive because we don't want to start up too quickly. So in the meantime, I'm going to reintroduce myself for anyone who doesn't know me. So my name is Penny and I'm a platform advocate. Sini, perhaps I can get you to introduce yourself too.
Sure. Hi, I'm Sini, also a developer advocate at Dynatrace. And yeah, working in the team where we basically create content for how to create Dynatrace apps.
Super cool. So, Sini, you're looking a little red. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. I was just running up the stairs because just recently or just today, we had 20 minutes ago we had a fire drill, and it was a bit short notice, so I was running up and down the stairs the last 30 minutes.
Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some chances to catch your breath and stuff before we start. Don't worry. And for anyone who's just joined, just to let you know, we're just waiting a couple of minutes to give everyone else an opportunity to join. Whilst we go through, I'm just going to introduce you to a couple of things. So actually, I'm going to take you over to developer.dynatrace.com, which is where we store all of our documentation about app development. So whilst Sini's catching his breath, are you back? Yeah, okay,
yep,
good.
I'm
We've got Sini
back.
I'm going to ask Sini to sort of help me here in learning a little bit about how to get started, or what would be the best place to get started if I want to develop an app.
Yeah, so if you are completely new to creating apps on Dynatrace, we have, as you can see, maybe on the left-hand side, and maybe I can highlight it, we have a section called Getting Started. So what we have in that section are two tutorials basically about how to get started creating your Dynatrace app. And we have the two tutorials. The one is the quick start. The other one is what we have called just tutorial. But basically, the quick start should give you an idea within 5 minutes how you can easily create your first Dynatrace.
And actually, there's my video there as well.
Yeah. So what we also the idea we also had, somebody prefers to read content, somebody prefers maybe to watch a tutorial, and therefore we offer you the choice. Yeah, are you more the video person, so you watch the video, or maybe you want to go through the content yourself and just read it?
Super cool. So actually, I have a question for you on this, because this is something I've run into trouble with when I've been making the tutorial. You know, maybe I don't want to make the tutorial, but I want to use this similar line. This line, I mean, to create an app. So this line of code here. How would I go about creating an empty one? Because this one actually gives me all of the tutorial as well. How would I go about creating an empty boilerplate?
Yeah, so per default, you get quite some, let's say, some components of the first of the quick start set of the default template. And yeah, what we offer with the Dynatrace App Toolkit to choose other templates. And the other template we have available is the empty template. So basically, next to this command to create a new Dynatrace project, you just append the -- template, so the parameter that you want to choose a specific template, and then you choose add as the parameter value empty, which stands for empty template, and basically you will get a really empty project, Dynatrace app project.
So there you can start from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to use that next time instead of going and deleting all of my different components that I tried to do last time. So thank you for that tip. Okay, we're at 3:35 now, so I think we can probably go ahead and get started with today. What do you think, Sini?
Yeah, I think we're all good. Also, we have quite some attendees.
Super cool. So just a reminder here now that this is open office hours sessions for you. It's run by myself and Sini, and we are here to help you answer any questions that you might have in terms of custom and app development. Now, today, we are going to use slightly a different format, just to let you know. And we are actually going to use the Zoom functionalities. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them into the Q&A Zoom functionality there. It should be at the bottom of your screen, I think. You can post your question there, and if we can answer it, we will go ahead and get it answered. If we don't get around to answering your question today, do not worry. You can always go over to the Dynatrace Developer community forum blog, and there you can ask your questions and we'll get to you as well. So I hope to get them all answered today, but just in case we don't, you can go there. Cool. What we will do today before we kick off our Q&A session is we're going to take a little look into what's new, where I'm going to pass over to Sini now, who is going to take us over to our latest newsletter and run us through some of those updates that we have new today.
Yeah. Thanks, Penny. And let me share my screen for that. I hope you can see the developer newsletter.
Yes, we are seeing that.
Awesome. So basically what we also do within our platform development team, what we do monthly is we try to summarize all the important changes and news when it comes to people creating apps on Dynatrace. And you can find this newsletter in Dynatrace community within the developer section and the developer blog. And yeah, what we, for instance, highlight there. So what has changed within the last month and what new awesome things have been added. So just to highlight some release highlights for app developers. So we have released quite some Dynatrace SDKs which you can make use within your app. One of those SDKs is the Davis AI SDK. So you can use Davis predictive and causal AI forecasting on your data within your app if you want to do any kinds of forecasting. So really nice SDK. If you're interested, feel free to check it out. Also, some other SDKs we have added. One SDK is the Hub SDK. Maybe you know the Dynatrace Hub, so where we have all the information about Dynatrace apps. And in the Hub, you can also manage, install, uninstall, update apps. Yeah, you can now access it within your app via the Hub SDK. Also, something just released, I think it was last month, Edge Connect. So it's an on-prem component which you install in your data center, and you can make calls from a Dynatrace app via this Edge Connect component into your data center and grab some data. And we have now also the SDK available to manage. So the SDK is mainly to manage the Edge Connect component. So if you want to make use of that, SDK is available. So 3 new SDKs added, and just for information, in every so we have linked here the links to the Dynatrace Developer portal, so the documentation, and yeah, you can check out the reference yourself. Also, beside new SDKs, we highlight is also what has changed in the design system, in the Strato design system, and maybe one thing to highlight for various visualization charts like time series pi and donut chart. Now there is a new prop which is called this loading prop, and you can set it and basically show once your chart is loading or not. And maybe one of the really nice thing we have added in the last month is CodeSandbox. So not sure if you have tried it out or if you have seen it, but I will just jump on Dynatrace. Developer Dynatrace.com, and in the reference section where we have the Strato design systems, let me just jump on any kind of chart, and what we have added there. So you've noticed that we have quite some examples how you can make use of various design components, and we have now added a CodeSandbox integration, so you don't have to use the component within your app to play around with it. Just click on the CodeSandbox link, and you're being then forwarded to CodeSandbox, and you can mess around with a particular component.
So Sini, this means that I can basically play around with the component completely separately without editing my app, right?
Yes, yes. So completely decoupled. I mean, you want to get a feeling for the design system. You want to see what you can modify. You just want to play around and see, hey, what is possible. So now decoupled from a Dynatrace app, you can check it out via the CodeSandbox links.
Well, that's really powerful thing to use, and that I've seen that all over the Dynatrace Developer now, so you can check it out for anyone watching.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Other things maybe to highlight. Yeah, maybe also what we in our release notes, what we highlight if there is any kind of breaking change. So there has been some breaking change with the design system, and we highlight the also breaking changes. So in case somebody was using the formatter options for single value charts, some properties got removed and you might need to adjust it. Yeah, I would say that's it when it comes to our release notes. And maybe I see we have already one question in Zoom, and let me answer it live. So somebody is asking in the Zoom chat, yeah, hi, I was wondering any idea you could give us on the type of practical questions we get for the app developer certification exam. So this is a question related to the developer certification, and just to show you what is meant by the question. So if you go to Dynatrace University and you log into the university, you will have a section certifications, and there is now a certification which is called app developer certification. Yeah, it's also created by our team, and the question was, any idea you could give us the type of practical questions we get for the developer certification? So the developer certification is divided in two parts. One part is, as you can see here, one part is a theoretical one where you will get a bunch of theory question about Dynatrace apps, and the second one it's a hands-on coding part. So for the theoretical questions, basically, you should get familiar to be able to answer it. You should get familiar with the develop section in Dynatrace Developer Portal, and also a bit about UI and design and platform services. But maybe just to go back again to the Developer Portal. Yeah. So if you understand here in the develop section, those are our how-to guides. If you understand most of those topics, especially the first like 5 ones, so how to deal with data within the Dynatrace app, how to use app functions, how to use intents. So those are also the most important building blocks or parts of a Dynatrace app. And if you know those concepts, if you understand those concepts, then you should be fit for the theoretical part. And when it comes to the practical hands-on part, so basically you will get an practice. So you will get an assignment, and you have to code in the IDE of your choice. You have to create a Dynatrace app, and I would say it's a pretty basic example where you have to reuse some Dynatrace Strato design system components. So only a few of them. And you have to connect, let's say, some bits and pieces together. So if you know, or if you have built maybe one Dynatrace app, an easy one or two easy apps, and you have checked out the examples we have in the develop section, so in the how-to guides, then the practical hands-on part shouldn't be an issue for you. So for the practical part, bottom line is, yes, you should be fine if you have already built one Dynatrace app. You should be fine. It shouldn't be that big of an issue. You provide your own environment, your own IDE, so you do this all locally on your machine. And now I forgot something. Your environment, your IDE. Yeah, and one most important thing. So there have been a couple of questions. You can make use of Dynatrace Developer. So for the practical part, we allow you to use any content available on Dynatrace Developer. For instance, if you need to look up how to, what are the properties of a bar chart, right? Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Yeah.
So Dynatrace Developer sort of becomes like almost a cheat sheet in that regards, which is super cool.
Yeah, but yeah. I don't see any other new questions. Maybe let's jump to Penny. Actually, I can show you this. You sharing it.
That's right.
So if there are no other questions, what we also do in the session is we highlight some community questions.
Actually, our community has been super active of late. So we have some good questions to share with you. But as I say, I want all the audience to keep on asking your questions, even though we're going to continue having a look into some of our community questions. If you do have any questions that you have pop into your head whilst having a look through, please feel free to pop them into the Q&A now. Okay, should we take a look at the first one, Cindy?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So the first question that we have actually is about someone who has been getting an error calling their API settings within their app. So maybe we can explain this error a little bit, Cindy, and where they've gone wrong.
Yeah. So basically, somebody wanted to access Penny said and the settings API via Dynatrace app. And the way how we build the whole permission and security, how we embedded it in Dynatrace app, in the Dynatrace app engine, is that in every app you have to define what kind of permissions your app needs. And if you miss some permission or some scope, then you will get some error message which might indicate, hey, the authorization. So you will get some permission or authorization problems. And then if you jump to the next slide, this is already what Stefan here responded. So yeah, if you access the settings API, or if you want to modify or if you want to read settings, I want to read settings, you need to add to the app config file in the scope section the scope settings object tree.
So actually, yeah. I think I was also up here. So I set this out earlier just to show you guys that you can check it out in Dynatrace Developer as well. So how you can add scopes and how that they need to be added to the app config TS file every time that you need one of these sort of scopes. So you can check it out here for how to add them into your app file.
Thanks, Penny.
No worries, Nick.
I see we have a new question from Nick. He's asking, hi, how are busy events sent with Dynatrace applications? I'm familiar with OpenKit and have sent them successfully with Java. So here we are talking now, okay, you want to send or to ingest busy events into Dynatrace. And what you might maybe know, so what Nick has been doing, you can configure in the Dynatrace UI to send busy events or to capture busy events in the settings. But you can also ask with Dynatrace application, can I somehow send in busy events? Yes, you can. Maybe Penny, you go to the developer portal. And maybe you go to the reference section. And in the reference, please click on SDK for TypeScript, and there on Classic Environment v2. And so basically, you want to ingest or store some data in Dynatrace. And for busy events, what we already offer, we offer an API, public API to ingest busy events. And if you use the Classic Environment SDK, and search on this page, Penny, please, for, I think it's events client. So Control F and events client.
Oui.
Command F, not your Mac, sorry. Command F, events. Yeah, there we go. We have a business events client. And there is an example how to send or ingest these events into Dynatrace. And if you click on the code example, there you go. Yeah, you have an example already. Okay, how within a Dynatrace app, how you can send these events into Dynatrace. So basically, you just make use of the biz events client. You might need to install the classic environment SDK, and yeah, that's it. And because we have talked about, I will just highlight this, because we have talked about permissions and scopes. On every in the SDK, you will see it quite often, some required scopes message or note. And if in case you want to ingest these events, you need to add to your app config configuration file, you need to add the scope storage events read, and the end user who runs the app needs the permissions storage events right. I hope, Nick, this has answered your question.
I've also, Nick, just to let you know, just popped it in the chat now to this page. So you've got a link there so you can go and check it out for yourself.
Yeah. So maybe Penny, yeah, awesome. We switch to the next question. So if you click on the next slide.
So let me just do a quick out reminder as well for anyone new that's jumped in, as I've seen a couple of new faces jumped in. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A Zoom. If not, we're going to keep on going because we've had a lot of community questions this month. So we've got a couple lined up to share with you. So we'll push on to the next one. So the next one, Cindy, that we'd like to know a little bit about is reading app state. So this person's had some difficulty. They're receiving error, a code 541. How can they go about resolving this? Is it even possible?
Yeah, so reading the question carefully. So the person wanted to use app state within workflows. So within Dynatrace workflows. And maybe what are, just to recap for the others, what is app state? App state, it's a way how you can store, persist actually some internal app information. And that person wanted to make use within workflows storing the app state. And it's a workflow itself. Maybe it's not a Dynatrace app, but you can also write TypeScript code there and make use of any Dynatrace SDK available. And if you click on the next screen, so basically within workflows, unfortunately, or you cannot access the app states. You can only access app states within your Dynatrace custom app. And yeah, so basically that's the response. So app states only make sense within a Dynatrace app and not within workflows. Because within workflows, you usually work with or read data which is stored in Grail, and you don't usually need to persist anything across workflow executions. But within workflows, if you need maybe to, if you're thinking about storing something in an app state, you should think, yeah, all the results or all the results of an execution step are available within a workflow. So actually, there is no need to store something in an app state. I hope that answered the question. I see a new question from Nick in the Q&A. So biz events can be sent via the ActiveGate with beacon forwarding, correct? I'm able to send them through my company's internal proxy directly to Dynatrace cluster. However, I would like to send them through the environment gate, and it looks like it's possible through custom applications in the UI. Nick, to be honest, I would need to look it up myself. if it's possible to send biz events via the ActiveGate. So you want to use, the ActiveGate just as a proxy, and to send the biz events then further to Dynatrace. Maybe I will just note it down. Yeah, maybe this is something as a follow-up because I don't really know it on top of my head. I think it should be possible, but yeah, I need to verify some stuff if this is possible. So sending these events via an ActiveGate to Dynatrace. But I've noted it down, and just for information, so I will ask the question in Dynatrace community and post a response to the question.
Super. So then in that case, we might as well go on to our next question, but just a nice reminder for the audience again, if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask them in the open Q&A, and we will continue. So we have one more question to share with you today. Unless you have more questions, please keep on asking. That question is about undeploying an app or deleting an app. It seems pretty obvious, but you know, the documentation could be a little hard to come around. But Sini, what do we do for this one?
Yeah, so you might work on an app, you might deploy an app, and then the question is popped up, hey, how do I uninstall or remove the app? So there are many ways how you can uninstall or remove an app, and if you click Penny on the next screen, the simplest answer, I would say, is the one from Stefan. So the simplest approach is to open the app or to open Dynatrace Hub, the Dynatrace Hub app. And in the Dynatrace Hub app, you have a managed, maybe Penny, we can do it actually together. And I will send you, actually, I can send it to everyone. So everyone. So what we have to Dynatrace, and maybe it's not that promoted, what I've sent out now in Slack, it's a link to an environment which is called Discover Dynatrace. It's a playground environment, and every customer has access to it. So you can, you can play around with it. Of course, with some limited set of permissions, you cannot modify settings, you cannot ingest data, but you can play around with what is available there. And Penny, if you now go to the hub, and if you click on the Manage button, you will see here our list of apps. And if you would have permissions, you wouldn't click on, I don't know, the options. Just click on it somewhere. And if you have the permissions to uninstall an app, it will pop up here.
So just these three little dots, right? So
yep,
these three little dots. So I don't think I have the permissions to do it on any of them. But if I did, it would pop up.
yeah. If it's not so the restriction is you need to have the permissions, and the app shouldn't be a built-in app, let's say. So if it's a custom app and if it's not a built-in app, then and you have the permissions, then you can uninstall it. So for instance, I think the Business Explorer, can you maybe click here on this?
Sure.
Yeah, so the Explore Biz Events app, as far as I remember, it's an app which you install on demand, but you still don't see the uninstall option. Anyway, you're missing permissions.
Yeah, I have no permissions, but that's all good. You'll have permissions on your apps, so you'll be able to unemploy or uninstall your own apps using this method, which is a little bit simpler. There are some other answers on that thread, so you can check that out on the Dynatrace community forum. And on that thread, there's other ways of doing it, but this is probably the most simple way for you to get it done. So that is all of our community questions that we've pulled out for today to share with you guys. So we're just going to hold for a couple of minutes to make sure that there isn't any other questions that you would like to ask me and Sini today. No question is too small, so please feel free to answer them in. And if not, I'm just going to continue talking, but you can go ahead and write them in as I'm talking. Don't feel shy just because I'm talking. I'm just going to talk a little bit about where you can get, more resources. So obviously I've talked about the developer Q&A forum. That's a place where you can go and get any questions answered there about custom apps. Again, no question too small. You've seen today some exemplary examples of some of our questions asked there. And both the community and our team as well is trying to get those answered there for you. Then another awesome place to look is the Dynatrace Developer documentation. You can go in there, use the search bar to search for whatever you need, and that should hopefully guide you to where you need to go. Then if not, go to the Q&A forum, or you can join us in 1 month where we will have the next one. We haven't had any questions yet, so with that, should we wrap up, Cindy?
Yeah, maybe let's wrap up the session. And again, just in case you have some questions about app development, feel free to ask them in our community, developer community forum.
Super cool. So I give you 30 minutes back, and we will see you next time next month. Ciao.
Bye.